Sorry to keep you waiting.
Welcome to this video where I talk about all things video games. In this video, I'll be reviewing Kid Icarus Uprising for the Nintendo 3DS. Kid Icarus Uprising is the brainchild of legendary acclaimed director Masahiro Sakurai, who is widely known for his creation of the Super Smash Bros. Series. Uprising served as the bridge game for Sakurai in between the releases of Smash Brawl and Smash 4. It's also in Brawl that we got the redesigns of Pete and Palutena. Being the third main release in the franchise after a 20 years hiatus, Uprising was also hailed as being the revival of this forgotten series. So does this game still hold up in 2021? In a sentence, it has held up beautifully. Kid Icarus Uprising gameplay is split between two styles. Firstly is the on-rail sky section of the game, where Pete is granted a temporary power of flight. The bulk of the gameplay in these sections are just shooting enemies and dodging incoming attacks. It's akin to games like Star Fox and Sin and Punishment. As these sections are guided sequences, the action stays fast and high octane, with amazing cinematography and spectacles punctuated with music that just plays at the right time. These sections of the levels are very exhilarating since pacing is designed to a T, with the action perfectly syncing with all the ridiculous set pieces. As the power of flight only lasts for 5 minutes, Pete will eventually have to land on the ground. This is when the game switches gameplay style to the land sections. On the land, the game plays more like a third-person shooter, with control over Pete's movement as well as the camera. The action task stretches to a crawl since there are now the elements of exploring and platforming involved. You can't talk about Kid Icarus Uprising gameplay without mentioning the controls. You control the movement of Pete using the circle pad, while shooting with the L button. You aim the reticle with the touchscreen. As you can see here, it can lead to major ergonomics issues. The physical release of the game does come with a stand, so it's easier to play with the 3DS resting on the stand. However, the trade-off is that you're forced to play on a table, which kind of defeats the purpose of a dedicated handheld console. The control walls are elevated on the land sections. As a whole, it felt like Sakurai had trouble forcing the control to work with the style of the game. Chief among them being the camera controls. Touchscreen had to do double duty. Aside from controlling the reticle, each swipe of the touchscreen will lead to the camera turning. It never ever felt precise at all. There are options available to tailor the sensitivity, but it never ever felt right. In addition, Pete's movement also felt very unprecise. Controlling him is a nightmare. Dashing and dodging is achieved with one swift movement of the circle pad, which is routinely hard to pull off compared to other games. The lack of button control is also evident, like picking up items requiring using the same button assigned to shooting. No dedicated jump button, resulting in bumpers needed to be introduced in the level designs. Overall, these control woes makes Pete movement very hard to control, sometimes resulting in lots of pitfall. The unintuitive camera control, coupled with the slower paced gameplay style of land battles, make these sections a slog to play through. But what makes the land sections bearable is amazing writing and localization. Throughout the entire game, the story unfolds as you play along the gameplay. The game rarely ever takes you out of the action just to explain or progress the story. Characters will just chime in with the plot as you progress through gameplay. The story never interrupts your gameplay and is just so refreshing, especially since I have to replay these sections again for this review. The dialogue kind of reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. In a way, through normal mundane conversations, you get to sieve out each character's code and personality. Maybe that's the reason why both the codec conversations and Palutena guidance are such well-loved Easter eggs of the modern Smash games. The dialogue and banter exchange are a constant highlight. With great sense of humor, the self-aware and fourth-wall breaking nature of his writing always brought a smile to my face. But these amazing lines of dialogue wouldn't have the same impact if not for the amazing voice acting. Across the board, the voice acting for all the main characters fits so well. I can't overstate how well the writing and voice acting performance is. It really pulled its weight in terms of making the game very enjoyable to play.
So he gets perks like evil powers, health insurance, and free soda.
Resurrected from the dead, that's some health insurance.
I highly doubt the gameplay alone would have made this a very enjoyable experience. And overall, the presentation is incredibly polished. Even after 9 years of release, this 3DS game still remains an impressive showcase, especially in 3D. The 3D works better than most other 3DS games since you will probably be playing on a stand, which will result in you moving the console a lot. The music just elevates the entire presentation up to 11. It's uncanny how well the music fits the current action set pieces. It is truly a game that managed to stimulate all your senses. Another hallmark of a Sakurai game is the sheer amount of content you get here. The customization and game modes available is just absolutely insane. In terms of gameplay, there are multiple weapons available to collect and fuse. Each of the different weapon types feels and plays very unique from one another. Not only that, you also get to set different abilities to use on the bottom screen. All this customization in loadout makes multiple playthrough more enjoyable, especially considering the fact that you can control the degree of challenge you want in the difficulty slider. Not to forget, you can also use what you learned in the single player game in the multiplayer matches available. I recall this mode to be a ton of fun back then. Switching gears to the collectibles, there are so many things to collect and side modes to see and do even after finishing the main game. The challenges deserve a shout out as some of them require you to augment your gameplay experience in order to clear them, which is always a ton of fun trying to challenge yourself to clear all of the challenges. The AR mode is also pretty novel back in the days, as I rarely ever got a chance of experiencing augmented reality. Suffice to say, there's a lot of depth and content for you to sink your teeth into. This one game really puts lazy, uninspired games to shame. It's just incredible the amount of value Sakurai adds to his games. To summarize, Kid Icarus Uprising is an exhilarating, high-octane third-person shooter with amazing set pieces and cinematography that stimulates your senses. This is especially the case in the flight sections, where it continuously dazzles the player with an amazing feeling of speed and danger. The presentation is absolutely stunning, especially when stereoscopic 3D is turned on. Kid Icarus Uprising also features one of the best writing, incorporating clever and witty dialogues with great sense of humor and 4-4 breaking antics that delight at every turn. The voice acting performance is solid across all the cast, breathing life to each of the characters. The game is rich with content with lots of different modes and customization available, entertaining the players for hours even after the adventure has ended. The negatives are the land sections can feel like a slog to go through, and the control feels like it's made for people with 3 hands. With that being said, I'm giving Kid Icarus Uprising an 8.5 out of 10. It's one of the best experiences you can enjoy on the 3DS, and if you have missed it, I encourage you to hunt down a physical used copy of this game and make sure it comes along with a 3DS stand. If you are wondering what other 3DS games you should get, you can click this playlist here to see all my other 3DS game reviews. So long guys, so long.